Good to go.
We're recording?
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, there we go. So,
St.
this is the
Patty's Day.
second episode of Through This Together, day 2. As I mentioned in the episode yesterday, that I had my buddy Chris, who's going to be part of the show. Wasn't able to make it yesterday, but is making it today. We were we went through I don't know 10 to 20 minutes of
Right.
trying different software, trying to get this a good setup to record split screen video conference, and it was a humbling experience. But so this will be episode 2. It's going to be named St. Paddy's Day because this
Happy
is
St.
St.
Patty's
Paddy's
Day.
Day. Cheers.
Cheers.
So we have a
I've
rough.
got my,
Yeah, what do you have? What are you drinking?
my mug here. I'm drinking this. It's called Incarnation IPA. So it's out of St. Louis. It's kind of a cool looking can. I thought it was
Cool
very
can.
very St. Patrick's looking can. So I picked that up
Almost
today.
like stained glass or something.
And I've got my mug, the Improper Bostonian.
Oh, hold it closer.
So this mug has been in our family for 50 years.
Oh shit! Don't
So it's
break
from
it.
Boston when my mom and dad lived in Boston and met. So the Improper Bostonian. So I should pull that out once a year for St. Patty's and put it away for the rest of the year and don't let it go in the dishwasher. So it stays
Right.
safe.
That's cool. That's a good story, actually. And that's old. It makes me nervous that you're gonna drop it.
I've already spilled some on my laptop. So
There we go. So I have my mug is not very cool. It's a Destiny mug because I work at a video gaming company. We get free stuff like that. But I'm drinking Rasputin Russian Imperial Stout.
nice.
And the reason I bought this actually is because I started watching The Last Tsar on Netflix. I don't know if you've seen that, but it's about Tsar Nicholas and his demise in Russia, basically, swinging from an empire to the communist revolution and stuff like that.
Cool.
So,
I'm making some of
and
that
Rasputin,
last night. I like that.
Rasputin's pretty big character in the thing, so I thought, hey, maybe I'll buy it. And I wasn't even thinking St. Patty's Day, but at least it's stout. So
Hey,
There's
and that's a meal too, since you're not eating the corned beef and cabbage your wife made, So
I know, right?
did
I'll
you
probably
at
have
least
some
some of the
potatoes.
cabbage? Oh,
I don't like cabbage either. I don't like corned beef. I don't like cabbage.
that's hard for you, man.
Good Irishman I am. Okay, so with this show, main goal is to go through the flow, through the format. We put together a rough format of what we want the show to be. We're going to be learning as we go. Things going to be a little rough. As you can see, our video is not great. Audio is probably not any better. But we're just going to fly through the format, and I'm going to kind of mention the format as we go, too, to keep us on track.
Cool.
So the first thing that we thought we'd start with is what's happened in the world since the last time we did the show. We're trying to do it daily, if possible. And we were just talking about what has happened in the world in the last 24 hours. It's roughly when I recorded the show. I came up with Kevin Durant got coronavirus, and I can't think of anything different. What you mentioned something? What was it that you mentioned?
I was mentioning Paul's. He was basically able to block this deal and not vote for this new budget that they were trying to put through.
Oh, that's right.
Apparently, it puts a lot of pressure on DoD and emergency services because they can't really pull the trigger on anything until they get the money. So we'll see how that goes. But I would say the biggest news of the day for me is, I don't want to make myself negative off the first show for me, but Tom Brady being not a Patriot anymore. I was born in Boston. I've been a Patriots fan my whole life, and I've enjoyed the last 20 years. But the first 25 were pretty rough. So yeah, Tom Brady's going to maybe be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer.
It looks like it's official.
Yeah, so there he goes. Couldn't pay him, and
to Tom and the
Tom.
Patriots greatness. That who knows if it's over? We'll see.
It's not over. It's not over. Belichick, that's why they couldn't put a deal together. Belichick's got to figure it out and rebuild. So I'll root for two teams for the next couple of years. My number one is still the Patriots. My loyalty's there.
Let's see. So the thing that I mentioned yesterday on the show is that we had gone into shelter in place. So I'm in
Lockdown.
Yep. Bay Area cities were shelter in place yesterday. I just got emergency alert on my phone earlier before the show, and Sonoma County, which is the next county above me, is now going to shelter in place. So it's spreading. My guess is Chicago probably get there. What do you think?
Yeah, we're gonna be close, behind everybody. I think we just had a bunch of people out in the bars tonight in Wrigleyville for St. Patrick's Day, so
Yeah.
nobody's really taking it, seriously. Obviously, we're talking about the coronavirus. That's how we're all on quarantine. It's the first day for me, with all full house, everybody trying to be productive and do their schoolwork. My wife, works in insurance. It was brutal. It was a crazy day. It was chaotic. We even let the kids sleep in until like 10, because we just didn't want to get started. We needed to get our morning going before we got them involved. So they were happy about sleeping in a little bit. But yeah, I ended up going out to IKEA today to get a new desk for my daughter because it just wasn't going to work. I could just see it. We're already annoying each other, and this is, day one, T minus how many. So
Yeah, no joke, right?
It was a fun.
It's funny. So I work with software engineers, and I usually like to get to the office around 9. Like the whole thing in my mind, I don't know if it's because we're Generation X, and it was just like the last crew that was like 9 to 5, or knows what the hell 9 to 5 is, right? And so I'm like, I want to be in the office by 9, so I wake up kind of early, and I get into the office, and I'm maybe the third person, at least in my quadrant of the office, that's there. A couple other people, usually not the youngest dudes, and people are like, you're the early guy, that gets there at 9. Of course, I travel like an hour and a half on a bus to get to my office. And a lot of the people that work there live in San Francisco where I works, and they still don't get there by 9. They kind of get in by 10. Some people come by 11. Some people come in and then just immediately take lunch. But to their credit, they stay really late. They stay like to like 6 or 7. So we're on different schedules. So that's even more. I'll use the word exacerbated now that I'm at home. People are joining even later. So I'm feeling like I might need to change my schedule, sleep in, start work a little later, because I'm getting there and like there's not a lot of people there, and I'm kind of a guy that coordinates with people and needs people to do my job. So it's definitely, this is going to change the way I do things. That's an understatement.
Yeah, we use Slack, so our teams, pinging each other by 10 a.m. But again, it's new. We got to figure out a new process. We're pretty lucky. Our team is pretty well distributed. So we're a distributed company, and most of the employees work from home. So this isn't going to be a total stretch. It's just since we're in transportation now, we need to figure out a new way to make money. So that's the unfortunate part of it.
I think you and I are on opposite sides of the field on that, and I don't want to get into like where you work or I work. Let's not go there. But we can go high level and say you are in transportation, and I'm in video games, entertainment. So our product is being used. We could see it way more often than normal.
Right.
And
and your virtual stores are probably going to be making a lot of money, and all those other things. It's like,
we'll see. We'll see.
You sell your stuff digitally now. You don't have to go out and buy a game at Best Buy.
True.
Or GameStop or whatever.
Yeah.
The internet stops nothing.
Just kind of keeping us on format here. We started by talking about what's going on in the world. I think, and this is almost an unfair statement, but comparatively, not a lot has happened in the last 24 hours compared to some other days that we've gone through in the last 2 weeks, right?
Absolutely.
So kind of maybe we'll move into the next segment, which was what's going on in our lives. And I think what I was at least thinking is we could talk about what's going on in our lives, like in our households, as we're kind of locked down, and maybe ask each other some questions. And one big thing that you and I are both going through, we both worked from home before, but now our kids are schooling from home, and that's streams are being crossed here. I'm taking a conference call, and my kids are in virtual classroom, and it sounds like a classroom. Everybody's talking at the same time. The teacher's like shh, and everybody goes quiet, and so I don't know. That has been my experience. So if I have my young daughter who's downstairs with me, and I can see what she's doing, and it's loud, and then I have my sons upstairs, and they're just kind of running their own show. I'm hoping they're going to school, but I don't know. What's your situation?
Totally different. Um, our school's basically said, sign in, roll call is the most important thing. There is no webcam. There is no interaction with the teacher unless you interact with the teacher in an available hour of time that they've allotted to come in virtually and ask questions and get into a Discord type discussion. So yeah, it was very clear the schools want everybody to be attending each class and checking into each class, so they're marked there. But my son already finished his whole week's worth of algebra today. He's got assignments. They're not going to be required to be behind a desk X hours a day. They'll be required to do X over the course of the week. So it's a little different than the California school systems. That's a pretty intense environment, and I got to imagine it's pretty intense for the teachers. Being present on a webcam, that's great. And I don't know, maybe I'll wish for that in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, dude. I was because we knew we were going to record this show. I was kind of paying extra attention to things and trying to. I looked at what my daughter was doing. My wife's been kind of running the show as far as that, so I kind of watched her go through a class. And dude, it was so funny. One thing was there was a point when the teacher's internet connection dropped, so she left the classroom, and then absolute chaos happened because all the kids what's going on, and it was just everybody's being goofy because there's no person to be 1 2 3 shut up.
Yeah, I know, right?
And another thing is they're reading Charlotte's Web right now. So there's a session in the morning and a session at night, and the teacher said, okay, the second session, let's all bring our pets and put them in front of the webcam, and everybody can share the pets and see what's going on. So it's total chaos. We have 2 dogs, a cat, and everybody was showing their dogs and puppies and everything, and all the kids are getting super oh moments, and I'm just going, you guys are going to read Charlotte's Web, and you're going to get to the end of it, and you're going to be so sad because it's the saddest book ever. I'm smile now because you're going to be crying on my shoulder when you get to that end part.
Or Wilbur takes a walk over to the dark house. Right?
Yep.
Oh, man, yep. That's great. Yeah, Charlotte's Web, that was a good one, man. Let's bring it back.
Yeah, dude.
So I guess from what I'm hearing, it sounds like the kids in Illinois will benefit pretty unlikely they're going to benefit in the next 2 months. It's just going to be a wash of grades. But it is a little disconcerting.
Like a lesson. It's going to be like a lesson in virtual ability than textbook learning. I feel like,
Well, it's a good exercise for my son because it's, hey, here's your deliverable, go get it done by X, get it done by this date, and you just got to keep on churning it and keep on grinding it out. So hey, that's it. I told you a little bit about what happened earlier. We had a little St. Patrick's Day party and watched the live stream of Dropkick Murphys.
The Dropkick, yeah.
Aiden came down and played violin to which song? It was what's their song? The Rose.
Oh, I heard.
Rose Tattoo. Rose Tattoo. That's what it is.
That's a good
Rose
one.
tattoo and a rose tattoo. He's gonna blue do 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 do.
You know, when he plays violin to Dropkick Murphys, it's considered a fiddle, I think. And so,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I
no,
think probably.
I'm joking, but you know what I mean?
He multitasks on the fiddle. He likes it. Annabelle was annoying him by getting in the way.
Yeah, like
So that was good. You have some corned beef and cabbage and a little bit of normalcy, and chatting with my buddy, who's lives down the street, who works at a pretty prominent lab with a particle accelerator in Illinois. So if anybody knows what that is, knows that they're going to keep running the particle accelerator, and they have to do it on obviously reduced staff, and it's a lot of stress. All these industries, all these little unique industries that are hitting the wall, either having to be leaving. I can't imagine being a restaurant owner or employee, or have to figure out like what you're doing, work from home.
I know. I feel like definitely delivery is a thing. I don't know if it is. Well, you guys aren't shelter in place. It's different for us, where it's almost like if you're non-essential, you can't be in business. But that's different. Yeah. So the restaurants can, if they're delivery, fast food places, if they're drive-through. This is based on my best understanding. I haven't looked at all the rules, but this is based on what I've heard. And I'm thinking, I want to support them. Like, I love my local stores. I love my local pizza place. I love all that stuff. And I'm like, can I support them, or do I have to worry about getting food from them? And do they have a person working there?
Right.
And yeah.
Well, I think there are two issues. Should I be spending money on takeout when we never know when this is all going to be over? Save my money for a rainy day. Or you're right. What are the employees that are preparing the food? You look at what happened on the cruise ship. I'm sure most of the contamination and the spread in the cruise ship had to do with the air ventilation systems, from what they were saying. But if this is not truly an airborne virus, it seems strange that the ship would be contaminated so quickly. So you never know. These guys were getting served the same food from the same cafeteria every day. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's a worry there. It's interesting because China did a little bit of that, and they had places that were essentially locked down, and they were like clean rooms, making food and delivering food. It's like the army out there delivering food on their scooters. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. There was one thing that so kind of quick progression of how it went at my work. They banned international travel, kind of when everybody was already thinking that's a good idea, when it was really going down in China, and then it got to a point where they're like, if you don't feel comfortable, you can work from home. And then the next step was like, no, I think everybody needs to work from home. And then shortly thereafter, it was shelter in place, and then that was basically sealed the deal. But in between them going, hey, if you feel uncomfortable, you can work from home, and everybody should work from home, there is a so for people that don't know, I work in San Francisco, south of Market, which is kind of not downtown, but there's like a lot of restaurants, and people go out to lunch, and it's pretty common. And there is a place called South Park, which is a park, and around it is restaurants, and people go there for, there's a couple of restaurants there that I like. And one of the cafes that was really, I don't know if I'd say popular, but it's in the mix of places that people go, had a employee that got infected with coronavirus. And then when you kind of do the math of the spread, you're thinking, a person that goes in there could go to the restaurant I went to. Food trucks are a big thing. There's a food truck park right near us, and it's like shoulder to shoulder in there. And then I think people, I don't want to say panic mode, but like it upped the game, and people were really like, I think I should work from home. And everybody's talking to the boss, I think I should work from home. And then it really kind of started to set in for us.
Yeah, food trucks too, man. And then I
Right.
think about, San Francisco and the homeless population. It's just it's a ticking time bomb.
It's bad where I work too, real bad.
I mean, from a contagion standpoint. So
All
yeah, so
right.
you had a couple of things here that we wanted to check out on the net. You want to
Yeah. So
pull
I
up
was
my?
gonna say, yep. So I'll leave that to you because I think you are the best equipped to pull up um, the links.
Yeah, I'll just do a little screen
So,
share
and then
here.
I'll just kind of tee this up as you're getting ready. Is the next part of the show is we wanted to show something funny or uplifting, or um, basically search the internet for memes. Maybe that's the best way to put it. But
Well, mine's not
we both
really
posted a
neat.
couple links.
I kind of went hot and cold. So here's my positive, thing. This is a tweet from Prairie, Wisconsin. So they set up their first drive-through testing facility, which is just really cool. If you know anything about what's been happening in the last 60 days, and especially in South Korea's done a killer job of
Yep.
putting together drive-through testing sites and testing thousands and thousands of people daily because of the drive-through testing. So that's really cool. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
they also ran out of tests after like 3 hours, so
Oh,
they shut
geez.
down. So they didn't stay open all day. The next one is this is the Killers singer.
Your audio is breaking up. I can't hear the video or you. Can't hear it.
All right, I'm pretty sure everybody else can hear it.
Yeah, well,
But
just look at it's from the Killers Twitter.
it's the singer of the Killers. Yeah, he's basically singing his song, "Mr. Brightside," washing his hands. So it's just like, yeah, man, awesome. I got it. I'd rather sing that than "Happy Birthday" any day. And then I got your meme up here: climate change, Gen Z boomers, coronavirus, Gen Z boomers. That's great.
And it's so funny. At the presser, the White House presser, they're like the thing they repeated the most is they're like Gen Z or millennial. I can't remember. I think they said millennials. Are like, can you just not go to the bars? Can you guys please not go to the bars? And my wife was saying there's a hashtag of boomer remover.
Jeez.
Virus. I was just like,
Oh,
no. you have to keep the sense of humor in this
Seriously
time. But this was the other one that I got.
I love this one though.
Right.
I love this picture because I've seen this a couple of different times and it's just the most frightening thing ever.
Yeah.
Hey.
And it's funny.
I unfortunately believe that's true. Unfortunately, I think it's gonna suck too.
Yeah, you're right. But it's funny because I like everything is coronavirus. Like everything is. You can go to. So I basically was searching on. I went on Reddit, and I'm like, do they have a coronavirus meme channel subreddit? And I searched, and they did. It was like very small and very lame. And then I'm like, why am I searching for that? I'm like, everything is coronavirus. So I'm like, let's just look at the memes, which is one of the biggest subreddits. And 90% of the memes there are about coronavirus, and they were just hilarious. And I didn't have enough time to find good ones. There were so much better ones that I didn't link to.
I'll pull up a few ones, for tomorrow's show. Check it out.
Yeah. But there's limitless content for this segment.
Absolutely. Oh man, I love. I was just thinking. I can't imagine like watching some of the fun things that were happening in China and some of the crazy people who are doing things quarantine. Just watching a few of the tweets, today that are coming in. I'm on Twitter mostly. I don't really do any other social media. So yeah, I thought that was really funny. I was like, all right, it's coming, man. Everybody's at home, stir crazy.
It's just beginning.
It's gonna get nuttier and nuttier. So it's gonna be a crazy ride. And this is awesome, man. This is a great podcast. That's why we're doing it, to just keep ourselves sane and document our experience and share with each other, and we'll have hopefully more people to get engaged with. And
and dude, hopefully it won't be like day 11 I've had the coronavirus for 3 days. Like,
Oh no. Please, yeah.
I shouldn't laugh about that. But I mean, shit. Like I said, you
I'm
gotta.
I'm in the long haul. Even if you gotta like do my last before I die of the day, I'm like, goodbye, everybody.
Dude, I'll be like in the
And that will
hospital.
probably get viewers. So once that happens, they'll be like, oh my god, this guy did a podcast and died on
Right.
it. So
Then we'll get viewers.
well, one of us has to live because if we make any money off of that, that would be great.
True. Yeah.
A couple $100 towards a Comcast bill. Sure, I'll go for it. Right.
Cool. Get more toilet paper.
Well, should we move on to tomorrow? Or
or what was I think we had something about tips, and maybe we need to roll through this real fast. I don't really
have a whole lot of tips. I just trying to outline some ideas, just kind of figuring out how to interact with your family and not kill each other for the next month, How to
maybe we could talk more about. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, just scheduling life and figuring out how to not be stuck inside. You can go outside and you can take the dog for a walk. You can go to the park. Just don't go and hang out with a bunch of people and just touch railings. Yeah, it's I don't know. So
it's gonna be different.
Yeah,
but maybe instead of going through the segment, because we probably are spending a little bit too much time on this
we're
episode.
On 26 minutes, so we're running.
Let's talk about just the segment itself. And I think, at least what I was thinking, and we're doing this together, is I want to talk about tips and more, but at least tips on like things that you and I are doing that are helping to get through this. Like one thing for us is we are cooking at a different level than we've ever cooked before. Like we are making bread every day. We are ground beef and ground turkey and like just making, well, there's no box stuff being made. We are making things from scratch. And I'm lucky because my wife's really into that anyways, and she's a great cook. But we're like, oh, maybe we should make our own tortillas. We'd never do this. But we did the Costco run. We have a bunch of flour. We have a bunch of other things. So I might mention some of that in the future.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that too today because I had to run in and grab one last thing, and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna make it quick, and then I went, like the store it's just everything you see now, you're starting to translate that into like what the what the contagion is, but also remember, if you're bringing home stuff that's been on the on the conveyor belt at Jewel or at the grocery store or whatever. Yeah, you should wipe it down. Maybe you should put it in a separate bag. Maybe you need to be thinking about that. Like I hate the self-checkout, but I did the self-checkout today because I just wanted to be I just wanted to touch it all myself. I didn't want to put it on the conveyor belt and let it do its thing. And so yeah, I think just thinking about that. What I was gonna say is, you cook everything. Anything you cook that's cooked at a high temperature isn't gonna have any issues.
Right.
So. But like tortillas, that's a good point.
Yeah, I saw a good YouTube on how to make tortillas pretty easy, so I almost want to do it. So.
Oh yeah, I got a tortilla press. You have a press?
No, just like it was kind of a pan.
Oh yeah.
Fried up in the pan. It looked real good, so I'm gonna try that. Maybe I'll take a picture of what it turned out to be.
Yeah, I'll share some recipes.
Yeah.
Did a big thing of corned beef and cabbage today, so that was today's meal.
Yeah, I'm in trouble right now with the wifey because I'm not going downstairs and eating some corned beef. So maybe we should call it.
Yeah, well, call it. It's a good episode. Number 2.
Number 2, St. Paddy's Day. Maybe we can cheers.
Cheers.
Ding. All right.
The improper Bostonian. And,
Destiny.
Weak game, man.
And then we should have a sign-off phrase. I don't know if it should be like wash your hands or let's think about it.
Yeah,
I think some sign-off phrase.
I buy a bidet. I think that's my
Get the hose through the window.
Technology.
Yeah, right.
If I If I could go out there and be a traveling salesman right now, I'd start selling bidets or those Japanese toilets that have the little bidet feature. And it's like, man,
Yeah.
you're set for life, man. You never have to worry
Japanese are
about
set.
risking
No,
your life and going to Costco for toilet paper.
No one's fighting over toilet paper in Japan right now, for sure.
That's right. And a lot of Europe
Right.
too.
So then goal, I'm putting a goal for us by tomorrow. We have a sign off catchphrase,
I like it.
and then we'll figure it out from there.
Sounds good.
All right,
Stay
dude.
safe, everybody.
Peace.
All right.
Everybody stay safe.
Talk to you guys soon.
Later.